I feel like this is the next journey in my life where I have to really fully trust the Lord to provide for me. You know what I'm saying? What's up, fam? It's the girl Shareen Nicole, and I am back with another video. This ain't your typical video, okay? Your girl has quit her 9-to-5. Yeah. Oh boy. So you heard it right. Your girl quit her 9-to-5, which really wasn't 9-to-5. It was more like 2 to 11. But let me tell you my story. Girl's been battling ever since she got to that job. And if y'all don't know, I worked for TSA, I worked for the government, and it just wasn't popping. It just wasn't for me. I mean, to go into more details, like the place has the audacity to have love as their campaign logo, but there was not an ounce of love in that place, okay? Ever since I started there, it was like a tugging in my spirit. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It was like cringy. It was very, oh my gosh. And when I say I suppressed everything just to work there, I suppressed everything. At first I was like, okay, you know, but as soon as I got into that place, baby, my soul was on fire, okay? I was like, I gotta go, I gotta get out of here. And now this isn't the first time I've quit TSA, okay? This is the second time I have left TSA, okay? So actually, this is the third time I have left. So the first time, if y'all haven't seen the first video, was back in 2022. I want to say, yeah, 2022, I left there, and that was because love had left the building, okay? So for those of you who don't know, God is love, okay? God is love. He's compassionate, he's caring, he's kind. And when those things leave the building, it is time for you to leave. Now, let me tell you something. When I got into the airport that I was at now, there was never love there to begin with. I feel like upon leaving, there was a sparkle, a twinkle of love, okay? Because I know in my heart, I loved everybody, even the ones that got up under my skin, okay? That place had not an ounce of love. Very micromanaging, very, we want you to do things this way, it's our way or the highway. And it's like, bro, do you know what the rules say? But I'm getting off track. Like, the reason why I left was literally because I felt like God was tugging on me. And that is the truth. Like, I feel like he was like, let's go. So let me tell you about this story. So this is funny. I was at work. I'm at DO. So for those of you who are TSA agents, if you watch this video, I was at the I can't even say the word. So DO is for divesting officer. We'll say divesting officer because I can say that. So that's the position where you're standing there and, you know, you're telling people what to take out of their stuff, you know, out of their bags and stuff like that, you know, laptops and all this good stuff. So I'm standing there and it's, you know, it's like midday or whatever. Passengers are coming through. I'm telling people what to do. And I hear my name called and I turn around and I'm like, you called me? To the person on the x-ray. And it was a man's voice. It was very gentle, very soft. And I was like, did you call me? And he was like, no. And I was like, okay. So I went back to doing what I was doing, you know? So I'm telling the people, whatever, we're having a good time, you know, I'm talking to everybody. And I hear my name again. I was like, yo, bro. I was like, did you call me? And he was like, no. And I was like, yo, I know I heard my name, you know? And I'm like looking around now because I'm like, did somebody else call me? And nobody called me, honey. So the call was coming from the Lord, okay? I know it sounds funny and it sounds crazy, but it's not, because I've heard it before. And if y'all don't know the Bible verse, which I'm going to find it, I'm going to put it up on the screen.
Then the Lord called Samuel. Samuel answered, Here I am. And he ran to Eli and said, Here I am, you called me. But Eli said, I did not call. Go back and lie down. So he went and lay down. Again the Lord called Samuel. And Samuel got up and went to Eli and said, Here I am, you called me. My son, Eli said, I did not call. Go back and lie down. Now Samuel did not yet know the Lord. The word of the Lord had not yet been revealed to him. A third time the Lord called, Samuel. And Samuel got up and went to Eli and said, Here I am. You called me. Then Eli realized that the Lord was calling the boy. So Eli told Samuel, Go and lie down, and if he calls you, say, Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening.
I don't even know the characters. I just know the story where, I don't want to say it wrong. I don't know if it was Eli, Elijah. I don't know who it was. But the man was laying in the bed and he woke up from his sleep because he was being called by the Lord. And he said his name, I want to say 3 times. And on the third time is when he realized that the Lord was calling him and not his brother. And so therefore I was like, so I didn't get a third call. What happened was we had to rotate and switch positions. And while we were switching positions, I was like, if that person didn't call my name, then who called me? And I was like, oh my gosh. And I heard in my spirit, it's time. And I'm like, it's time for what? Now, if y'all watched the first video, I heard it's time before. And I was like, time for what? Because your girl be like, new, like things sometimes just go over her head. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, it's time for what? I'm like, yeah, it's time to rotate, like, and I'm like, okay, yeah, let me get in position or whatever. So I'm going to my next position. And all the while I'm thinking in my head, like, well, what is it time for? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh no, it can't be time, and then I finally got it. I'm like, it can't be time to leave this job. Well, I wouldn't say everybody, but everybody's, finally getting along and we're getting along. Like I said, not everybody, but I feel at peace. It was almost like I had to suppress my spirit in order to be in that atmosphere. And if you know what I'm talking about, please comment down below, because I know I am not the only person out here that knows what I'm talking about. When you step into a room and it's like this, the only word I can use to describe it is this cringy feeling. Like you don't, like your spirit, your person, your inside does not want to be there. I said, I'm gonna do this because I felt like God brought me there. And you know what? He did. So let me tell you about that. So how I know that God told me to be at this airport is because I heard the word from the Lord. I prayed and I prayed and I prayed and I said, Lord, what am I supposed to do? Like when I moved out here to Dallas and I was like, I'm not working. People are like, oh, you need to get a job, da 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 da. And I'm not the type of person that wants to get a job anyways. I'm very free spirited. I've always been a free spirited person. And so I was like, yeah, you're right. I guess I do have to get a job. So, I prayed and I prayed about it and I got my sign and I was like, Lord, what do you want me to do? I look up in the sky and I see a plane flying by. And let me tell you, I said, it's going to sound crazy, but I was like, hell no. I said, ain't no way in hell I'm going back there. I was like, there's no way. I was like, I don't want to go back there. You already know I don't want to go back there. I was like, I done left there for a reason. But I said, you know what? I said, if this is what God wants me to do, I have to be obedient and I have to do it. So I was very obedient. I went, I applied, I did what I needed to do. I was happy. I got accepted. I even got double portion. You know what I'm saying? Like the Lord will restore you in double. So I'm making double what I was making at the airport that I was at Philly. So y'all got to keep up. I know the story might be a little bit all over the place, but go watch the first video, which might not make too much sense either, and then come back to this one. So I was firstly at Philadelphia Airport, and then I left there, and then I was at Love Field Airport or whatever. So then I said, okay, I was very obedient. I did what I needed to do. Like I said, double portion, boom. I mean, your girl walked in, like a rock star, okay? And I was like, look at God, you know what I'm saying? But little did I know, he had a back plan, okay? And so I went there, I worked, and I was like, Lord, why am I here? When I tell you shit hit the fan, and I'm gonna be completely honest, because this is me and this is who I am. And yes, I do curse, and I try my best not to, for the simple fact that, 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 for the simple fact I'm changing my ways. You know what I'm saying? Slowly but surely, a lot has changed about me. Like, a lot has changed about me. The SHIT hit the fan, okay? And I was like, oh no. Now, mind you, your girl was out of TSA for a year, okay? To come back almost, wait, was it a year? No. It was right before a year hit. And I didn't even realize that. Okay. People were saying, oh, did you come back? Like, let me tell you how arrogant these people are. The guy was like that, originally signed me up and, gave me my schedule, was like, oh, so what brought you back? I was honest. I said, God. And he was like, oh, so you came back for the money? And I was like, what money? You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know. I didn't care. I didn't want to know. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to be there. And so the simple fact that that man said that was like, okay, cringy. So I was like, what money? You know what I'm saying? He was like, oh yeah, we had the bonus raise and da 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 da. And I was like, I had no idea, because I had no idea. So I'm like, look at God, in my head is what I'm saying. But I was like, oh, okay, but that was attitude number one. After doing that and doing the process and this and that and the third, and I'm working there and stuff like that. It just was trial after trial after trial. And I prayed and I prayed and I prayed and I cried. Many nights I cried. I cried probably every day. And I heard nothing. I heard nothing from the Lord. I heard nothing. And I begged, I pleaded, and I said, I just want to leave. So come around the time of, I don't even know what date it was. I should have kept track of this, but like I said, I didn't care anyways. So I put in my resignation. Now I could pull up the letter, and if I do, I'll probably insert the date that I did resign the second time now, because now we're in Dallas. I said, yeah, I'm resigning. Boom, point blank, period. And I felt like God was telling me to leave. Now, whether he was telling me to leave that time or not, I really had to dig within and search, you know what I'm saying? And do a little bit of soul searching to figure out, is it me wanting to leave this place, or is he telling me to leave this place? After like careful consideration and prayer, okay, I did come to find out, yeah, that was me. That was my spirit. That was me saying, girl, if you don't get your behind up out of here, by God's grace, I'm telling you, God is so merciful, because I went back into that place after I resigned. And I said, I'm sorry. And I said, I'm not supposed to leave yet. Now, mind you, I did say yet, because I know in my heart, I was like, I ain't going to be here forever. This is not God's plan. So I said, okay, it's not time for me to leave yet. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like God had me there to build my character. And I'm going to get to that in a minute, because there's a whole backstory on that. So like I said, the grace of God, the lady said, okay, they put me right back in. I wrote an apology letter, saying XYZ, this, that, and the third. And I was back in with no problem, like I never left. And this was in the same day or whatever. Now, I did get AWOL'd. And for those of you who don't know, AWOL is like a no call, no show. But these people be throwing AWOLs out like it's candy. But that's neither here nor there. Fast forward to... okay, let's not fast forward. So now I'm back in, I'm still going through trials, I mean, things are popping off left and right. People are giving me attitudes. People are treating me like I don't know what I'm doing, like I don't know what I'm talking about, like I didn't work with TSA for 3.5 years before I got there, which now is totaling a total of 4.5, maybe 5 years now. I don't know, I lost count, but at least a good 5 years now. And so they're acting like I don't know what's going on and what I need to do. And don't get me wrong, your girl was a little rusty on a couple of things, because, the rules change here and there. But back to the trials, okay, getting into arguments, passengers acting a fool, my coworkers acting a fool. It was almost as if they were trying to get me out of there. And I understand things like that. And you shouldn't let people get under your skin in no way, shape, or form, honey. But let me tell you, when I say that this was spiritual warfare, that's exactly what it is. Because I went and I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. And I mean, let me tell you, God wasn't saying jack diddly squat until I I had it. I broke down and I was like, Lord, please. I was like, please, I need to understand why I'm here. Why am I here? If you don't answer anything else, please, why am I here? And so what I heard was, he said, go to church. And I'm like, go to church? So I said, all right, bet. So I went and I was like, wait a minute. Now, this was a Sunday afternoon, mind you. It was around 1 o'clock, 1:20 p.m. And I said, okay, Lord, I'm going to go to church. I get ready. I get out. I'm getting ready to go to the shower. And I said, wait a minute. I was like, Lord, it's 1:20. I was like, what church am I going to? Service is over. I was like, ain't no afternoon service this late. So I said, well, he did say go to church. So I said, let me find the closest church near me. And I did. I looked it up and then I said, okay. I said, well, their service is over. Let me see if they have any online services that I missed. So lo and behold, they had a Facebook page. I went on the Facebook page and I seen the sermon, the last sermon that they had posted on their Facebook page. And when I say I was in tears of joy, of sadness. I was in tears of everything because the sermon that was playing that day he started off the sermon saying, it is all a test. And I said, oh my God, because I was like, thank you, Jesus. But then I'm like, a test of what? So I listened to the whole sermon, was about an hour long. I even listened to it a second time to see if I missed any information. But, he was pretty much saying like the Lord will put you through trials and tribulations sometimes to test you, and sometimes it's to test your character. Sometimes it's to test, are you going to be obedient to the Lord or whatever? So now I'm like trying to figure out, so is this, me being obedient or is it, my character? Now, your girl's character can be a little shoddy at times. Shoddy in a way like, don't come for me because I'm going to come for you. Like that. I think it's a New York thing, but it's whatever. I've been getting over it. I'm over it. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, it's a lot of things that have to shed off of you when you're going through this process of the Lord. I don't know if you would call it cleansing or purifying or whatever it is that he does to make you more like him. So we'll just call it shedding. But yeah, so now I found out that it is a test. So thank you, Jesus, that he spoke to me and said it was a test, because your girl was breaking down. I didn't know what to do anymore. I'm praying, nothing's happening. I'm reading the Bible, ain't nothing happening. I'm listening to some encouraging words, online. And I'm like, well, I ain't got no signs of anything. And I said, okay, well, all I have to go with is what he told me it was. It's a test. And I said, all right. So I endured some more months at this place. And, during the course of the months, I was like, yeah, I need to work on my character. I know that. So, all right, I'm going to work on it. Boy, the harder I worked on my character, the harder the enemies came, is what we're going to call it. Okay. Because the more I tried to be nice, the more they kept stepping up front. Like, it was like Goliath. Okay. Like your girl was fighting Goliath. All right. I'm just like, this is insane. I was like, what is going on? I was like, what? Literally, I would be at work and I'd be like, what is going on? I was like, this is insane. Like, it was to the point where I was just like, I have no words to describe it. So fast forward to today now. Wait, didn't I have to go back and tell y'all another story? Whew, this is going to be a long one. Fast forward to today now. I'm going to work, everything is good. I'm finally at peace. Like my spirit has calmed down. You know what I'm saying? Now we're at that point where, remember, we switched positions and we're in rotation. And I'm like, oh no, it's time to leave. I'm like, no, that can't be. I cried. I boo-hooed. And I was like, is this really what he wants me to do? I was like, but I don't understand. I was like, why would you want me to leave now when everything is hunky-dory, where everything is good? Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, besides the people that were still getting under my skin, they weren't getting under my skin anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like your girl calmed it down and your girl was like, you ain't gonna bother me. Okay, you just a fly on the wall and you will always be a fly on the wall. Okay? I didn't understand it. You know what I'm saying? So I said my goodbyes. And I walked in, I was scared. I was a ball of nerves. because I was like, why? I didn't understand it. And I put in my resignation again. So I left my job on the 6th of this month, which is November. So I left my job on the 6th, but I had time. I had a lot of time actually. So I could have actually wrote it out for like 2 or 3 weeks, actually 3 weeks. And I said, nah, you could just put in for 1 week. So we have this thing called S1 days. So those are like, holiday days that they just give out, Veterans Day, stuff like that. So I had, I think 7 of those. So I used that for the whole week. So today is the last day of those days, which today is the 14th. And then the rest of the days, I said, those were my vacation days. I was like, yeah, just cut me a check. But I mean, I could have let it ride out, but I was like, yeah, just cut me a check. It don't matter. So that's it. Like, your girl left and I left, and I felt like this time it was definitely, from God, because like I said, I heard him say it's time. And I'm just like, and I heard my name called. And like I said, I proved it with the story from the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Even though I don't know the exact names of the characters, best believe I'm gonna put it up on the screen. But it's just, I couldn't believe it. And so now I'm here. Hello, guys. I'm here to tell my testimony and my story thus far. And yeah, really didn't want to put it up. But we're going to see, I'm excited. At first I was like, oh my God, what have I done? But you get over that, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like this is the next journey in my life where I have to really fully trust the Lord to provide for me. You know what I'm saying? Because yes, he provided a job. He also tested me to make sure that, my character is in check. And I'm going to be obedient. When it's time for me to leave, it's time for me to leave. If the Lord says, go, and go. You know what I'm saying? Just get up and go. Do whatever it is that he's calling you to do. And don't get it twisted. Your girl had trouble and time trying to figure out what he wanted me to do. You know what I'm saying? So in the end, it all works out in the end. Like, all things work together for the good of those that love the Lord. So it's going to be all right. And I just have to trust in him. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to do this video to let you know what has been going on in what has been going on in my life thus far. And yeah, I mean, if you see me, say hi. Watch this video, watch all the other videos. If you need to hear this video again, play it back so you can get it into your spirit. And play it back so you hear everything clearly, okay? But yeah, I love you guys. And I guess I'll see y'all in my next video. It's getting there. Bye.